I don't know. I stole it from my roommate. Yeah, because my mom has horrible taste in pie.
What is up, movie buffs? I'm Jeremy, and we're here to talk about The Matrix. We're talking about The Matrix Resurrections. That's the most recent trailer that was released for The Matrix 4, which is going to be coming out Christmas time, sometime in the middle of December, maybe early December, something like that. And before we get started, I wanted to let you know that this is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill, the story ends, you wake up in your bed and you believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. Say I'm not going to do a fucking Morpheus bit when I do a Matrix stream. Say I won't do it. Go ahead. Say I won't do it. How you guys doing? Thank you so much for stopping by. Mark McKeever, birthday twins, so close. I'm the 28th. I am the 28th, and I might have done some inaccurate math a minute ago, but the 28th nonetheless. Libra bros, fucking Libra bros. Jay Wolfie, 3 live streams. That is correct because yeah, I think it was mentioned in the last stream, but I am trying to keep them all related to the topics within each of them. And as I mentioned a moment ago, this particular stream is going to be an hour where we discuss the trailer for The Matrix Resurrections. Hopefully I can keep that R word right, because it was Matrix, then Reloaded, then Revolutions, and now Resurrections. And for some reason I keep wanting to say Resurgence, and I have to imagine it's because Revelations, Resurgence, it doesn't matter. Very generic title. I didn't have high hopes about this. I actually echo what James Esparza said a moment ago. We said, I'm not expecting much from this movie. No offense, but those directors haven't made a good movie since the first Matrix. And I know it's not a hot take to be like, I like the first Matrix movie, but I don't like any of the other Matrix movies. What might be a hot take, though, it depends on where you come in on this conversation, is the Wachowski siblings just ain't that good. Look, The Matrix is revolutionary. Like, this is not an exaggeration. It became parodied and satirized and referenced, and it influenced so many different things that we might look at it as being a little bit trite at this point. But at the time that it came out, American audiences had never seen this type of storytelling done. Eastern audiences have seen similar types of work done in animation, but as far as film, the theatrical experience that we're all so used to, this movie showed us things that we never really seen before. The idea of The Matrix was mind-blowing. It was like, first seeing The Matrix is like, once you understand what's at play here, it almost like made people feel smarter, like they did kind of see through the bullshit facade. Granted, counterculture type people have always kind of felt like they saw the, saw behind the curtain, saw the man behind the curtain, but that's really what The Matrix is about. And in a lot of ways, it's always been kind of a Alice through the looking glass kind of story. And as you know, Alice follows the White Rabbit. And as you also know, White Rabbit is the song used in The Matrix Revolutions trailer. So I do have some slides similar to what I did during the last stream. However, because of what happened last time, I'm a little unsure if they're going to come out in the correct order or not. However, I've gone through the trailer and I've broke it down shot for shot. Not every frame of every shot, but hey, here's one shot, second shot. I went through all of them and tried to grab a still from each of them. So I've got a very clear vantage point on what this trailer consists of, and maybe we can all kind of put together what we know about it to find out whether or not this is actually going to be a good movie or not. But as far as general thoughts before we get into it, I came around. It made a believer out of me very fucking quick. However, I do have so much goodwill toward the original film that it's hard to say, is it sentimental attachment to it? Is it nostalgia? Or is this actually a good trailer? And I think that's what we're here to discuss. Before we do get into this, I do know, I love to say before we get into this, I'm like Joe Bob Briggs. I keep on saying before we get into this, or one more thing, and then we'll get into this. And there's always like several more things. So one more thing before I get into this. This trailer, like, I feel like it had a real struggle going into it of, like, the original Matrix, we didn't know, based on the trailers, it looks like a kick-ass action movie. Now that we know about what the Matrix is, it's going to be very difficult to recapture the magic of the first time, of just this revelation. And that's what was difficult about the second and the third films, is like, all right, now you've opened up this world, but it was the possibility that this kind of world could even exist is what made it so compelling in the first place. So this trailer has the difficult job of establishing a scenario that is mysterious while us having an understanding already about who these characters are, what they've previously experienced, even if they don't. So anyways, just a little bit of setup before we get started. Also, this isn't the Wachowski siblings. This is just Lana Wachowski. I'm not sure what the other Wachowski's name is, but she decided to walk away from the project as she felt like it was kind of stepping back to a time in her life before they were the fully realized people that they are now. She felt like going back to a work before she transitioned felt like stepping back, and I respect that opinion. I also respect Lana's opinion to want to revisit and maybe even recontextualize a lot of the things that we saw in the original film. Specifically characters like Switch, who were supposed to be one gender in the Matrix and then another in the real world. So, like, are they going to play up a lot of these themes about identity and gender and all of this in the movie even more than we got in the first? I suspect so, and there's a couple of shots in the trailer that I can kind of point to speculate as to why. However, I'm not an expert on anything, so just take what I say with a grain of salt, or half a grain of salt. One more thing before we get started. I'm just kidding. We'll go ahead and get started. Let me look through these comments real quick. We got a lot of them. Red pill means bald haircut. I choose red for that. He won't do it. It's hard to get excited with the Wachowskis' track record and the terrible sequels. Yeah. Resurrection is a very appropriate for a religious theme of the Matrix trilogy. Very valid. And even just like in the biblical sense, which Neo, the one, the anagram, and then also just resurrection of an old franchise that people love. So I agree with that. More like Matrix regurgitate. Am I right? Yeah, maybe. We'll see. I'm having deja vu, says Matt Leg. What's up, dude? TMS SMT. I don't know why they didn't just call it Matrix Rebooted since in a sense. Oh yeah, with the computer type stuff. Bro, that's actually a really good point. Animatrix, what was the Matrix video game? Don't really remember. Guess it doesn't matter. Didn't play it. Heard it's broken as fuck. Random Andy's channel. What up? What up? Bit sweaty from moving, but I'm here just in time for this. So glad you are, man. The song choice really was terrific. And at first, because White Rabbit has been used so many times. Lou Reed, by the way. Wait, who is it? It's Lou Reed, right? Velvet Underground does White Rabbit. It's used a lot in drug movies, so it's not completely original, but the way that it builds into that orchestral piece is so freaking sick. Like, again, like it starts off and I'm like, and then by the end of it, I'm like, yeah, let's go. Jefferson Airplane. Not, sorry about that. Sorry about that. Duh. Now I'm embarrassed of myself. I normally know that, maybe. Oops, I need to go back because my images are changing. We'll just go ahead and blank that out for now. Song choice was terrific. Matrix in the theater at 16 years old was mind-blowing. Up there with Jurassic Park growing up as a theater experience. Couldn't agree more. The new color palette in this trailer is interesting, much more vibrant and inviting than the dull muted greens that we got in the original version of The Matrix. I think this is a much more idealized world. And in fact, I think now is a great time to bring this franchise back because we are more plugged in than ever. This is actually more relevant now than it was back in the very inception of this very digital life that we are all very ingrained in now. Anyways, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's go. Okay. First shot, again, to Colby's point, very, very vibrant, very bold, very, like a futuristic that's both idealized. It's like technology is advanced, but also there's these nice little pockets of like utopian suburbs, like right outside. Now we're in a psychiatry office, and this little black cat comes and runs across the table. We got to assume it's like a, what do they call him? Anomaly in the Matrix. Obviously, our hero is a little fidgety. He's a little nervous about what's going on here. We, of course, know who it is, and he's basically just doing what he always does, sharing with his psychiatrist about what's going on. And his psychiatrist, oh shit. His psychiatrist is played by none other than the Doogster. The Doogster MD, man. Okay, and then I pause it. All right, got it. Got it. We're good. Doogie Howser MD. He's like, says something about being triggered. And then the next line, Keanu Reeves is like, am I going crazy? And he's like, we don't say that word here. So already, it's like, look, they're already touching on the idea of policing of language, which is very, very hot topic right now. The idea that crazy is like a derogatory term, and that's clearly not what, what the intent of Keanu is, but like, we're kind of from a different time now. The world's changing. And, anyways, you see this shot, and it's got to immediately remind you of John Wick. Like, I can only speak for myself. When I saw that, immediately conjured images of John Wick, but very bold, very colorful, not just all very muted, samey colors. I like that. Hello, King of the Hills 34, Nick Mayfield, Leo. Neil Patrick Harris really is a talented dude. So yeah, I saw this picture and I'm like, yeah, that reminds me a lot of John Wick. And then we get this shot, which is super cool, very iconic. If you look closely at it, you can see where the lines end. Like there's almost a perfect little square within it. I mean, you can still see the green coming through, but it's almost like a frame within this larger coating, almost like the world that, as you perceive it, like close is all been carefully constructed. And then outside of that, I don't know. Definitely overthinking that one. Let's see. Alan, Adrian, absolutely agree there. And we will come back to that in just a moment because, yes, the blue pills are a very common motif, and not just take one to stay in the rabbit hole. Now it is you must consume a regimen, and the blue pills obviously being allegorical of like antidepressants, something like that, which the idea that taking medication closes you off from realizing your potential is actually very dangerous. I'm somebody that suffers from bipolar disorder, and not being on my medicine is not awesome for anybody. So I think that's a little antiquated. The idea of like, you don't really have mental illness. Those pills just make you a zombie. You know what I mean? Like there's always been that kind of like stigma around it. And I think that's a little dangerous, but that's just me. Christopher Branch, what's up, dude? Thank you for coming by. So yeah, anyways, we'll get there. We'll get there, but I do agree with you. I think that's a very good observation. Get some bullet time stuff. I know, guys, if you didn't see The Matrix before you saw Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, it might not be as impressive to you, but all of that like spinning around, slow motion, bullet time stuff came from the Wachowskis. I mean, Christopher Nolan's Inception owes a huge debt of gratitude to what happened. Christopher Nolan in general owes a lot to what the Wachowskis did with The Matrix, because that movie, it inspired a whole lot of filmmakers. Let's just say that. I hope not, Andy. That's what I really hope not, dude. I hope we don't have another Jupiter ascending on our hands. And Keanu reaches out. The Matrix copied it from the... Is that right? Charlie's Angels did it first? Oh, you're... All right, I see you, man. Neo reaches out, not realizing... I mean, he's not even Neo. What's his name before he's Neo? I don't remember. Wait, it's like John something. Let's see if IMDb refers to him as anything other than Neo. Nope. What is Neo's name? Hey, Google, what is Neo's name? Mr. Anderson. Thomas Anderson. That's right. I forgot about that. John Wick. It is dangerous, but I've also seen people misdiagnosed, and I've seen them be closed off mostly around ADHD, though. Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely validity to that. There's definitely a tendency to overprescribe with doctors. I think there's a conversation to be had about that. I just feel like the idea, the fundamental overarching idea that antidepressants make people numb or imperceptive, I don't necessarily know if that's true. But looks like he made this between takes for the next John Wick movie. Thomas Anderson, based on the biblical doubting Thomas. A lot of religious allegories that I just kind of wish would have stayed low key, but Reloaded and Revolutions are like, it's an allegory. Get it? It's like a religious allegory. Do you get it? Do you get it? Fucking get it. Neo's gonna blow up into a cross like a glowing crucifix at the end of it. Get it? Dude, look. Yahya Abdul-Mateen II is killing it, dude. He played Dr. Manhattan, then he played Candyman, and now he's playing Morpheus. That is dope, dude. This guy is a killer agent. He's super talented. I didn't love the movie Candyman, but I really like him. He's the perfect young Morpheus. I hate to get real specific about it, but they both got the same kind of, pores. It's not like seal pores, but like they got them deep pores. It's a great casting choice. Just saying. No, you're right, James Esparza. They were not that low key in the first one. They were much more uh subtle than they became. Let's say that. The first trilogy has a lot to do with the Wachowskis realizing their own identity. I'll let you fill in the blanks. So we get a shot of Morpheus, pew pew pew, shooting at shit, doing his Morpheus thing. Then I'm gonna pause this one. This is very reminiscent of the breach of the towers at the end of the first Matrix. Again, Colby mentioned the colors. Everything in that scene is like gray and black with a greenish tint in the first Matrix. Very ugly. The late 90s, early 2000s were a very ugly time for film. Everything had that green hue on it. Think of the original Saw movie. Everything just looked grimy then. It's like such a bad look. Underworld, they were like, nah, we're tired of green. Let's do it with blue, though. Let's do that green thing, but with blue. That will be our distinctive thing. Yeah, I mean, we'll still wear like leather trench coats and sunglasses and flip around in bullet time and all that shit, but like, we need to do something different than the Matrix. We'll go blue. People won't even know. Why have they recast Morpheus? Thoughts? That's a very good question. I did read that Fishburne wasn't asked to return, which is kind of unfortunate because they brought back so many of the other key players. It just leads me to believe that they're going to do something dramatically different with Morpheus this time around. Maybe he didn't get along with the directors. You know, maybe the relationship soured by the end. I don't know. That's a good question, though. So, okay. uh, take a good look at that that's what I'm talking about, man. That's what I'm talking about. Yes, big pharma sucks. Absolutely. Yeah, I don't know. Everybody can have their own take on that, but that is definitely there's good medicine out there. There really is. All right. So, this scene very reminiscent of the end of the first one. I didn't notice that when I was playing the trailer, but when their hands connect, there's an actual like illumination spark. It must be in like 2 frames because it was so subtle that I didn't see it until I was scrubbing the footage afterwards. And I was like, oh, look at that. They really got chemistry. You can literally see the sparks flying between these two. That's very old school Matrixy looking. That she's wearing looks incredibly tight too. That looks almost like a flashback type thing because it is so evocative of the color grading. And then we actually get to see into the real world, and I love how this has gotten much more aesthetically like Hades. Like it looks much more like hell now, other than just like this big almost alien landscape. Almost looks like Dante's Inferno kind of thing. A satire of itself, maybe more than a parody. And I agree, Alan. Definitely seems like aging is going to play a big theme in it. Thank you, Stephen Fraser. I tend to kind of fall on that side of the conversation a little bit more. I mean, it's complicated. We'll say that, but I do agree. I do tend to feel the same way as you do. Don't want that to be the entire crux of this whole discussion, but it's real shit, man. I wish people would get hip to it. It's normally people that don't have to take medication that feel that way. Then we see Neo for I think the first time clear face. No, but no Patrick Harris. That's where he says we don't say that word here. Yeah, all of those shots that I just showed you happen in succession over about like 5 or 10 seconds. I hate all of it, Patrick McCabe. Just throwing that out there. I am terribly particular about people's theater going etiquette. It drives me insane when people talk during movies. If people say that Marvel's comedy undercuts the movie's dramatic weight, it's like, yeah, but at least it's the movie undercutting its dramatic weight, and it's not just some clown that like wants to throw in some like weak joke in the middle of a movie that costs like $100 million to make. Like, look, I love riff tracks. I love Mystery Science Theater 3000. I love Red Letter Media. The idea of bagging on bad movies is incredibly appealing to me. Like, I just think it's a lot of fun. But watching, these huge movies and thinking that they need riff commentary over the top of them, where people are like working on their tight 5-minute stand-up material on your dime, on your time and your money and your patience. Oh man, it's like just wait. You're not all that funny. Just like you're undercutting the dramatic tension, and it totally affects the way people view stuff. That's all I'm saying. Not a fan. Dude, I love this shot. We got Neo with the rubber ducky chilling on his head. Again, definitely playing to this thing that he's just kind of vegged out. He's like not really living. He's just existing, right? There's something missing in his life. He knows he's not fulfilled. There's a part of him that just doesn't feel at home. Correct, James. Yes. 100%, dude. 100%. Like the second time you watch a movie, or if you're watching Troll 2. New sad Keanu meme. Yeah, 100%. All right, next frame. What is this? I think that's Neo shaking hands with Trinity again. Yeah. This is just their actual meet cute instead of that one little light. Random Karen's channel over here. No, I agree with you, man. I agree with you. Christopher Branch, I agree with you too. I only talk shit if the movie sucks. Otherwise, quiet as a church mouse. I tend to agree with you. Then it gets into subjectivity. Well, I'm going to talk about the movie Malignant in just a moment here. I don't know if you guys have seen it yet. It is on HBO Max if you're curious about it. Wouldn't recommend watching my spoiler discussion about it unless you just really don't care. Because I don't really want to review the movie. I just want to talk about the what the fuck nature of it. It was wild, but I kind of might have thought it sucked. But I talked to this like old lady after the movie, and she liked it. So like it's so subjective. I don't know what sucks or what doesn't. It's hard to know. But I tend to, if I'm at the house watching like Tubi, everything on Tubi I feel like is fair game because it's like Shout Factory and Full Moon Pictures. And if that doesn't mean anything to you, get on board with my bad movie watching. Or any Jason sequel. Yeah. That for sure. Any of that kind of stuff. No. Saw Don't Breathe 2 a month ago. Group of rowdy teenagers not knowing how to shut up and had to get the manager satisfied when they had to leave because they continued to talk. Nick Mayfield, definitely worth a watch. Definitely worth a watch. Now, I'm not telling you it's good. I'm just telling you it's worth a watch. All right. Next image here. Yeah, that's where he meets Trinity. Carrie Ann Moss. We saw her last in Jessica Jones. I say we saw her last. She's probably done a movie since then, but me and you, saw her last in Jessica Jones. She's very good. Very good. Very interesting features. I also feel like the Wachowski's casting director did a good job of finding interesting looking characters. Then we got the image of a fractaled Neo taking his medication, broken down into multiple pieces. Like, which one is the true him? And I love this. His pupils go from normal size to dilating immediately. These blue pills are the opioid for the masses. These antidepressant pills are keeping people from unlocking their true inner selves. They're keeping you, again, like the bread and circus thing. We're doing what we can to keep humans complacent. Oh, that is, look at that. No eyelashes. I just now noticed that. That's real life right there. No facial hair, no eyebrow, no eyelashes. Fucking weird. I get what you mean, Patrick McCabe. Like, if somebody leans over to you to be like, "Oh, it's the the thing," and they whisper it, that's totally yeah, that's a different thing. It's a different thing. Christopher Branch. Let's see here. Walking out into the streets all stoned, like, I can see through my fingers, man. It's like a sun through there. What? How can the sun be so small and so big? I love this shot. So then he's in the elevator with all of the people, and this is why I do feel like now is a good time to reintroduce audiences to this stuff, because there are so many elements that can be explored here. So he's in this elevator and he's surrounded by people that are on their devices. He's the only one in the place not on a device, and he looks up and he sees like the mirror self up through the reflection, and is just like, huh, the world around me is completely like, we don't need to be in the Matrix now because we're on the Matrix. Really interesting stuff. So Neo dumps his pills. And it's difficult to be concise. Oh, Leo, I hope not. And I agree with your last comment too. Everyone should have access to drugs for free if they need them, instead of predatory, profit-driven motives. Could not agree more. You look at an asshole like Martin Shkreli. Like, there are terrible pharmacy. I mean, look at the opioid epidemic. The opioid epidemic ruined America in so many ways. Terrible. Terrible. Anyways, I do hope it's not a cash grab as well, that you say you smell the last 3 Star Wars happening again with this. Let's fucking hope not. So yes, he dumps out the blue pills. And there is always going to be an like a feeling of triumph that people can say, I don't need this crutch anymore. I can get by without it. I'm tired of these things that are, interfering with seeing things for what they are, or finding some sense of meaning in the chaos. So I there is still a part of me that's like, fuck yeah, get rid of those things. So it is complicated, but I just I guess in the real world, I just want to impede upon people that there's no reason to be ashamed of having to do drugs, despite not having to do pharmaceuticals, despite what media shows sometimes. Let's see. I got lost in the sauce, dude. Where'd my shit go? Oops. All right, give me a second to get caught back up. Spacebar? Spacebar, spacebar. Gonna take a while. Dude. Okay. I don't remember seeing that part of Neo's body. I didn't touch on that one, but there's a shot of Neo's body being what looks like rebuilt or worked on. I wonder if that's at the end of Revolutions. They're like rebuilding him to plug him back into the Matrix, maybe? I don't know, man. It's also like that corset looks like the column things on their backs. I keep them plugged in. Man, what nasty shit. The first time my wife saw it, when they pulled that like robotic worm out of Neo's stomach, she had to turn it off. She was just like, that's disgusting. And I was like, I get it. That's a pretty gnarly shot. Okay, here we go. So then, oh, come on, man. Son of a bitch. In your head. I gotta go back now. If you have to ask, the answer is yes. Andy. Just throwing that out there. If you're ever in doubt, yes, it's a penis. All right, here we go. Alice in Wonderland. If you remember, the Morpheus even mentions the rabbit hole in the very first Matrix, so they're bringing that back, that iconography. We've got Shupra. What's her name? Chopra. I can't remember right now. Then I don't know what's going on here, because that guy clearly looks about as old as Keanu Reeves is now. Only Keanu Reeves is a freak and never looks old until he shaves his face off in Bill and Ted. But like, that guy looks a little bit like a mix of Hugo Weaving and what, Agent, no, what's his name? Hooper on Stranger Things. I don't know what that is, but he's looking at himself in the mirror and he doesn't recognize himself. And I wonder if this is starting to kind of touch on the identity parts of the story that I suspect will be leaking into it. But this image in particular, along with the fractaled version of the self, where he's looking at all the different all these different copies of himself in the mirror. This one is like when you look in the mirror and you don't recognize yourself. It all moves and reacts with you, but it's not you. And I wonder if that's, intentional by now. It does look like Hugo Weaving. Okay, I thought so. Hugo Weaving and Hooper, all right? Take my analogy from Stranger Things. And then all of a sudden it's him again. Yeah, I guess that is. I mean, it looks like a composite. It definitely looks like there's some Hugo Weaving in there, but I don't know, man. It's interesting. And then Morpheus with the red pill. And I'm like, dude, what perfect casting. And what cool sunglasses. Can I just say that the aesthetic of the Matrix, as influential as it was, is completely fucking ridiculous. There was a guy in my art history class, and he came to school dressed like Neo every day. He had the trench coat, he had the sunglasses, he had slick black hair, he wore a black rash guard, and he wore black vinyl pants to school every day. And he was getting so much pussy, dude. Sorry. Oh, the ladies saw him and they were just like turned their seats into water slides. They slipped right out of them. It was crazy. He'd come walking through and you could tell. You knew he was in the classroom because girls are just falling out of their seats. Wits! Fucking. They slipped on a banana peel. I didn't know what was going on. Thinking back, though, it's so obvious. All right, I'll move on. Sorry. The pills. From director Lana Wachowski. Let me look up the other Wachowski. So, damn it, I stopped it again. Can't believe I keep doing that. I'm new to the slideshow thing. The sound effects. Yeah, dude, there would be like a dolly in there making the whoop sound. It was crazy. Lana Wachowski. I want to pause it, but I can't. So let me come over here and say, is it Lily, Lana, and Lily Wachowski? Okay, there we go. Then we get the white rabbit tattoo after the city skyline. White rabbit tattoo that shows like this person is obviously holds a key to the information that he's trying to find. And would you look at who it is? She's one of the 3 sand snakes. Her name's Jessica Henwick, and she's badass. Really, really like Jessica Henwick. She was in Love and Monsters, which I saw just the other day and thought it was wonderful, dude. Oh my God, have you guys seen Love and Monsters on Hulu? It is incredible. So good, and I really like her, so I'm glad to see her in this movie. I like her blue hair, looking real cool. Don't listen to him. Don't listen to him, Leo. It's all a waste of time. Everything, if you think about it. I'm just kidding. I watched a couple seasons of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Some people would say, Andy, other people would say it doesn't get good for the first 4 seasons or some crap. Or the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th season. Or I don't know. I watched it. Colby Sullivan, Love and Monsters was great. It really is. It really is good. Enjoyed it very much. It was like cute and had cool monster design in it. Ooh, Alan, I see you, bro. She might be a villain in favor for the blue pill. They definitely play her up to be a very heroic character in the trailer, so that would make her a good Cypher. Wait, was it Cypher? Whoever the mole in the first one was, remember they had a guy on the inside? It wasn't Cypher, was it? Rat faces. Yeah, Cypher. Cypher's sunglasses, real cool, dude. I like his little what do you call it? Little jazz shit. Yeah, that real specific facial hair. He looked like he had facial hair for a Marvel movie. Random Andy's channel. Did you say everything is a waste of time? Did you insult yourself by saying this is a waste of time? Yeah, I suppose that's one way of looking at it, but I mean like everything is a waste of time. Not just television, not just movies. Like we are ultimately just on the clock, man, wasting fucking time. Life, really, if you think about it. If you think about it in a really bleak, nihilistic way. But yes, and by proxy, by extension, this is a waste of time. In that way. Soul Patch. Thank you, Stephen Fraser. That's the one. Jessica Henwick stepping through the looking glass. Through the looking glass. A little bit more iconography there from literature. It makes you feel smart, you know? Then Neo stepping through the looking glass. A lot of reflections in this trailer. Meet Neo and Trinity. Well, that just took a turn. And then I love this scene at the end. He's out here on this little lake dojo training with a young Morpheus, and they're doing kung fu. Whoa. And he's like, you don't know me. And Morpheus is like, don't I? And then all of a sudden, Dragon Ball Z force projectile blows the freaking entire dojo apart, blows Morpheus out through the fucking lake. The entire thing explodes, sending ripples and shockwaves that were felt for miles around. Now all of a sudden we get the huge harvesting chambers where you're like, oh my man, these things have gotten vast since the original movies. You remember what the columns looked like in the first? They were much smaller. Not the Nebuchadnezzar, but their new ship that they're kind of piloting through here. And then there's this awesome rooftop scene. It's in the golden hour, twilight, sun's going down. It's very reminiscent of the end of the original movie, and they're out there together. And then I guess I didn't get a shot of it, but the helicopter comes up, they explode it, and then they jump off the side of the building, and they're basically like flying, and that's the end of the trailer. And then Matrix Resurrections. And I got to tell you, man, it looks really, really cool. King Dingalang, what up, dude? I'm so mixed about this movie. I want it to be good, but I'm worried. Yes, I completely agree with that assessment. I did think it was a good trailer, but I'm also the first person to say it. This is kind of one of my little mantras is it's easy to make a good trailer. All they need is 2 minutes out of 2 hours, and if you can not cut together a good trailer, you've got a real stinker on your hands. That's why I'm very worried about Venom, Let There Be Carnage. But that said, there's a lot of cool stuff in this Matrix trailer. I guess I didn't show the shots of Jessica Henwick like running through the hallway either. No, there's a lot of images on here that didn't end up popping up. Let me see why not. Well, I missed some stuff, but it's rounding out to be about that time anyways. No clear penis there, unfortunately. Curtis, I think that's a very good question. I'm always wondering about that. If they completely wrote those out of the lore, I would not be shocked. That would be very Halloween 2018. It would be very, what are some other ones? Ghostbusters Afterlife. It would be very Candyman 2021. It would be it's very in vogue to do that right now. It's very trendy to just say, you didn't like those? So fuck them. They didn't exist. Let's just keep on moving. Let's keep moving. There's the shot. I did show that one. Okay, there's Neo coming out. So yeah, I went through all of them, but at this point, I do want to kind of get y'all's temperature on this. I am relatively enthusiastic about it. Yeah, he did, Alan. Yes, he did. Viggo Mortensen in Eastern Promises. A really good scene in that movie where they're just buck naked in a sauna, beating the shit out of each other in a knife fight. It's wild. Wild stuff, dude. But yeah, every Terminator sequel, very good point. X-Men Days of Future Past did it. Yes, there are a lot of examples where they're just like, yeah, just don't worry about all that. We're going a different direction. And to be honest, more times than not, I feel like it has been to the benefit and not to the detriment of said movies. So if they did get rid of Reloaded and Revelations, the fuck's it called? Restitutions, reevaluations. What is it? Revolutions. Yeah. Not to be confused with Revelations. I think that would be all right. I think I would be all right with that. They'll probably keep it in canon and just say like it was all a simulation, which a lot of it was a simulation anyways, but they're like, we just wanted you to think you broke free, but really you've been in here the whole time. I don't know what they're going to do, but I did think this trailer was good. Prior to this trailer, I was like, I'm not interested. Wachowskis have literally never done a good movie outside of the original Matrix. Fool me once kind of situation. And then I saw the trailer and I heard the music, and it got me, you know? Seeing all these characters and the return to the world, and it got me. Objectively speaking, chances are better that it's going to suck. But let's hope. Let's hold out a little bit of hope. Just expect it to be bad. That way you're only pleasantly surprised, you know? Because it's true. Sometimes movies are terrible. You guys subscribed over on Twitch yet? Shout out to those of you that did subscribe. I am up to 16 subscribers now, which it may not sound like a lot because it's not. However, I woke up this morning with 1 subscriber. So you guys are the MVPs. I really do appreciate you joining that community and helping it to grow over there. We're off to a very good start so far, and I could not do it without your help. So thank you very much. I'm very proud of my 16 subscribers. I think that's a very good place to start, and I can't wait to see more. If you did not click in the last video, I've posted a link to my Twitch channel. I'm going to be starting to do lives over there pretty regularly, a little bit more random, a little bit more spontaneous. Hopefully you'll come over and join the community and be a part of that over there. Bound by the Wachowskis is excellent. Made before The Matrix. Oh no, I've seen it. Gina Gershon and Jennifer Tilly lesbian heist movie where they are wives. Well, one of them's a wife of a powerful mob member, and the other's like a painter or something, like a mechanic or something. I don't remember what Gina Gershon did, but basically they fall in love, plan a heist. Pretty cool movie. It ain't great. It's like a Cinemax middle of the night, like, oh, this is a little sleazy, but it's also kind of cool. I don't know. I get it though. It's cool. It's cool. Yeah, I agree, Leo. How do you make more? I mean, it was so definitive of an ending. It happened outside of the Matrix. It's like there's no going back, but lo and behold, they always find a way to make more money. They always find a way to make more money. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to at least know whether or not it turns out good. Any of you guys that are in the chat right now seen Malignant? Anybody coming back for the next stream? Let me know real quick. I will be streaming Malignant at about 12:30. So here in just a little bit. I definitely Curtis, great question. Thank you for that. What's your favorite detail in the trailer? Mine would be the glasses for the book lady and the psychiatrist. Oh, very specific. Let me see what the glasses for the book lady were. Are they red? Where am I book lady at? Definitely blue-pilled psychiatrist. And he says, we don't use those kind of words here. He's blue-pilled. He's living in. And then, yeah, red sunglasses and a more warm palette. Okay, I am starting to see something there. There's blue shades versus red shades. And it is definitely intentional. However, Trinity seems to be completely in blue. Maybe this isn't Trinity. Trinity definitely died. Maybe she's a facsimile. So when they're all on their mobile devices, you look straight up and everything's blue, but then you see them through the reflection and everything's got the red tint to it. Very interesting. I'm glad you brought that up. The Alice in Wonderland shot, very warm colors, very bold. And then when he's looking in the mirror and he sees Agent Smith, we got the blue tint again. Very interesting what they're doing here. Her hair is blue. My favorite detail in the trailer was, looking up at the elevator. I know it's not really a detail so much as a shot, like a framing thing, but I really liked it. The girl, Jessica Henwick, opens up a doorway and everything's illuminated blue, but then when they step through to the other side, everything's got the warmth in it. So she's like, it took them from the lie into the truth, maybe. That's really interesting as I'm going through it. There's a shot that seems to be have something being projected onto a wall. it's not a theater, but there's definitely like a movie playing on the wall and then like a theater going through it. And I swear it's got that image of Neo where he screams and then the stuff comes out of him. It does that cool vocal modulation thing. I think they're watching that on the screen. I did miss a lot of the shots because we see Trinity waking up out of the Matrix. In here, we see the scene where she screams and she's fragmented into a bunch of different versions of herself. In fact, it's not just her. If you freeze frame that image, there's all sorts of different women screaming through her. Man, it's got a lot of potential. And then we see the one where Morpheus touches the mirror, the scene where Jessica Henwick's running across the wall that's very reminiscent of the elevator fight scene in Momentum, which, as I mentioned earlier, not Momentum. What the fuck am I talking about? Inception, yeah. Then there's the scene where they drop out the window and they're falling and then they bust through it. And then there's the agent fighting Neo in the subway. Another scene that's kind of out of the first one. Yeah, the idea that they're going to use a lot of the stuff that they used in the original movies is definitely looking more and more apparent. You think they're going to make 3 more? Oh, man. I wish this would just be the last one, but they probably are doing another trilogy. I think that's what you mean, though. They're watching the first movie, it looks. Yeah, that's what I was wondering. And also participating in the first movie, because when all of the SWAT team starts shooting at him, he puts his hand out and freezes all the automatic bullets. It's like the same but different. Then they're on the motorcycles, and that guy from Mindhunter shows up at the end, seeming very much like the architect from Reloaded. The young version of him. I really like that guy. He was also the king in Hamilton. But yeah, it hit for me. I had the headphones on and I was watching it, and it kind of got chills by the end of it. I was like, this really could be awesome. But that's nostalgia for you, isn't it? Isn't that nostalgia? It gives you that warm, fuzzy feeling like you're not in the Matrix. Yeah, there's some cool theories in here. I'm very excited about just seeing what it is. Even if it's not good, to spend 2 hours revisiting a recontextualized version of this world that the Wachowskis made. I should say also, I am not a fan of Reloaded or Revolutions, but when I saw Reloaded in the theater, I thought it was pretty badass. Like, it's got some cool stuff in it. The whole interstate set that they built, it was the largest highway that had ever been built for a movie before. I don't know how that was for the local wildlife population. I don't know how many animals were displaced in the process of that, but still pretty impressive undertaking. There was some really cool choreography in it. It was neat to see Neo utilizing his powers in those ways a lot, even though it got very, very CGI heavy. But I remember seeing Revolutions in the theater and just being like, what the fuck was that? That ain't it. That ain't it at all. And then I've gone back and watched Reloaded, and it's just like, it's so up its own ass. Reloaded especially. But it's just like everybody told the Wachowskis that the Matrix was profound and deep and affecting in a way that was like almost a religious experience. And they were like, we'll show you a little bit about that. And continued to just be more pretentious, more lofty in their ideas, more grand in their execution, until everything just felt like Sound and Fury, and really it just felt too try hard. And then moving forward from that, it was like, okay, I'm going to go watch Cloud Atlas. I didn't see Speed Racer because the reviews were like, you don't need to see Speed Racer. So I didn't see Speed Racer, even though I've talked to people that defend Speed Racer, and it just didn't seem like it's for me. I'm not huge on the green screen thing in the first place. I've seen a little bit of it. seemed weird to me. And then I watched Jupiter Ascending. Gotta say, kind of love Jupiter Ascending. Kind of fucking love Jupiter Ascending. It is unbelievably miscalculated. Channing Tatum on flying inline skates with cat ears or wolf ears and what? What was his name? Eddie Redmayne just like doing the weirdest voice. I can't do impressions, but you know what I'm talking about. It was weird. Yes, Kobe, it insists upon itself. That's a really good way of putting that. The original was extremely innovative, says Mark. Will they surprise us with something new with this film? Let's hope so. Leo, they have to be watched in order, but every time I try to watch them all together, I fall asleep in the first 15 minutes of the second one. Yes. King Dingling says Speed Racer is so underrated. Patrick McCabe, Eddie Redmayne is awesomely terrible. Could not agree more. The second and third are now going through the Star Wars prequel syndrome where people love it now. Yeah, that's okay. That's all right. They can. Curtis says, I think the best part of Revolutions was the mech versus squid battle. The speech before the fight still gets me pretty hype. Yeah, this mech versus squid battle was cool looking. It just went on too long. It felt more like a video cutscene to me, but it was cool. I'm not saying it's not cool. It's fucking pretty cool stuff. I didn't play Enter the Matrix, but I did play for another hour straight on a stream, and you guys all played along, so I appreciate you very much. It really is always a pleasure to be able to talk movies and television and things with you, so thank you very much for stopping by at about 12:30 here in 15 minutes. I'm going to be doing a live stream where I discuss the most recent James Wan directed horror film, Malignant. It's definitely batshit, but is it batshit in a good way or in a bad way? Let's discuss if you've seen the movie. Otherwise, I hope to catch you guys in the next video. If you haven't subscribed to Twitch, make sure to do that. But until next time, I'm Jeremy. Be terrible. Peace.